Hey dolls, welcome back to your Royal BFF, the People's Duchess. How's it going? Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are well. Having a fabulous Sunday myself. Let me know if my mic sounds okay. I am not playing any games today with this microphone. Last week, the back of my desk or the side of my desk kept rubbing up against the mic cord such that it kept coming in and out. So I do apologize for that. But yeah, let me know if my mic sounds okay and I will adjust it if it doesn't. But yeah, I'm having a great Sunday. Otherwise, the warm weather has brought me right back to life, right out of whatever winter sundown depression I was in the last few months. Like, there's something about the sun that I just really appreciate and enjoy, and winter could never. Anyways, we have a lot to get to. There is so much to discuss. Y'all, this media cycle just keeps us eating, isn't it? There have been so many pieces of really exciting and really horrifying news this week. For one, we got the Duchess of Sussex trolling the trolls on Instagram, and that ish pan fried me. Matter of fact, it sauteed me. We have Prince Harry making his exciting NBA Finals debut alongside his debut as one of the most influential figures in sports. Just amazing, just absolutely amazing. Like, I knew Harry and Meghan were like fun and funny, but I never knew that she could literally take it there anytime she wanted. So I want to get into that. Trooping of the Color, though, was also this weekend. So we had this um, Trooping of the Color 2026 in the country formerly known as the United Kingdom. British taxpayers really did fork over another couple tens of millions of pounds to have this thing. And I guess this was like, it's like his second birthday. I don't know. I've never understood like why the monarch has two birthdays. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've read about it, but the explanation makes no sense. Like, why would you have a public birthday in addition to your regular birthday? And why do you guys just accept that? Why do you accept that that's just what's happening? It's not even like reasonable, you know? Because both of them cost you guys a lot of money. And this like Trooping of the Color thing, like, is anyone really into it? I didn't really see a lot of mainstream. I don't see a lot of mainstream news about them anyways. I have pretty much all of them blocked, but I haven't even heard amongst like the royalists discussing it in positive means, in positive light. Um, Let me tell y'all, it's been pretty brutal since the Sussexes left. I don't know that the royals will ever recover from this. Um, it's shaping up to be a lot like the mistake that they made with Diana. It took Charles forever to get people to stop like screaming at him and Camilla in public. But we can see that they are still deeply unpopular as monarchs because nobody ever forgot. Everyone at some point just decided to be cordial to him and his mistress. And I think that at the time they did that because obviously he's going to be the next monarch, and they had a lot of respect for his mom and wanted to show her that they could be cordial towards her son, especially in her presence. Hey, Connie Bomber, happy Sunday. Welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing well, hun. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, but they clearly disliked him, deeply and intensely disliked this man, but showed him that deference, I guess, because of his mom. And we've seen a lot of these like emotional support polls in the last 6 years that say that the monarchy is doing very well and there's still a very high level of support, especially among like older audiences, yada, yada. But is that really true? Is that really true? I feel like pictures like this speak a lot louder than any fabricated emotional support poll could ever. And don't get me wrong, I get that this is the picture that the current monarch had in his head, this very slimmed down model, but I'm not sure that he knew the ramifications that this would lead to, that the picture itself would speak so loudly against this setup that he has here. People really enjoyed seeing 5011 royals on the balcony in the heyday of Queen Elizabeth. They loved that. They loved seeing the new generations. They really enjoyed the playfulness, the cheekiness of the children all up on the balcony, running around, the adults trying to corral them. They really enjoyed that. So this very like sanitized, really weird looking Adams family values type balcony is just not really working for a lot of people. And as such, the excitement and the pomp and ceremony of it all just doesn't really, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be hitting the way it used to hit. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't know. We know now, especially, that all of that, and I mean 100% of those polls and these reactions from royalists are disingenuous to their core. I have always maintained that they don't ask anyone anything. There are no polls. We're being gaslit about the polls, yes, but they're also lying about even conducting the polls. That's, I think, what a lot of people are missing, is that they're still giving some semblance of benefit of the doubt in these polls. Like, well, who did they poll? Oh, did they only poll certain, maybe conservative, far right? No, they didn't poll anyone, babes. They polled no one. They spun around a few times in their chair and then said, I know, I'll say that 2,000 people said this. And of the 2,000 people, XYZ people said that. Like, no. That's what's happening. That's how those polls are conducted. In my humble opinion, what we see happening is more likely that they'll take social media, the consensus on social media under comments, as public consensus, like verified public consensus, and use that to say, oh, look how popular the royals are. They've got millions of followers. They've got hundreds of thousands of likes. And we know that that's not even the case. We know that the internet is pretty much all bots at this point. It's been overrun, thoroughly infested with bots and AI. And who knows how that cleanup will occur. But the people that are doing those comments aren't actually people. And we know that. These bots are sophisticated now. They go into live streams, they'll go into Twitch streams, TikTok stream, anywhere that they can cause a disruption. You know, this is who you're arguing with. This is who you're arguing with online. This is who is sending you all of those hateful messages whenever you try to express yourself, or, just show something about your life or your progress or whatever, like something nice and fun. Like, these are the bots that come under your comments and say something so racist and so out of pocket, so unrelated, just to stir up that anti-Black sentiment or anti whatever ethnicity, insert here the sentiment, whatever sexist sentiment, etc., etc. Like, these are the bots whose sole purpose it is to be confrontational and contrarian, and hopefully get real people to follow along, because they know how powerful the gang mentality is, especially online, especially with these younger generations that are online, to feel belonging. They're into like the Twitch streamers, the I Show Speed streamers. They have this community that they may not otherwise have, so they like to feel that sense of community with others. And bullying has always given kids that avenue, right? I mean, kids can be brutal. We know that kids can be brutal. And then when they gang up and start forming those cliques, and one of them is tyrannical, and then the rest of them become tyrannical as a result, and they're terrorizing everybody, like, that feels really good to a developing mind, because they don't have power elsewhere. Certainly not in their homes, certainly not with other adults. But the problem is that when they become adults, they still feel powerless in their lives. They have the need to express that power by degrading others, by trying to, buck break everyone else, like bend them to their will. And the royals and those in their orbit are those kids that never got parental guidance on really important things to set them up for success in a society, such as emotional regulation and rejection of sociopathy. Like, I guess all of us are a little bit, we can tend to be a little bit sociopathic when the situation calls for it. But, if you are home trained, your parents will teach you things like, no, 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 you have to have empathy. You can't just not care. You can't just not care. You have to care. You have to try to help. You have to try to do something. So, they have to at least try and show those outward signs of their sociopathy, the cruelty of it all, the hate of it all, just the downright meanness of it all. They haven't figured out how to be mentally healthy for themselves or anyone else. So this is really a result of that, like, jealousy and rage. This right here, this balcony, is a result of not being able to control yourself, to control that sociopathy, and in a lot of cases, the psychopathy of these people. You know, this is a result of that. This is jealousy throwing a temper tantrum, and this is the root cause. This is how it looks. I don't know. They just do a whole lot with the bots, especially. We've all seen that New York Times article about how suspicious it was when all of a sudden certain couples' Instagrams and Twitters and all different social media platforms started increasing fundamentally, like increasing phenomenally, as if they were trying to outpace someone else that had just gotten on social media. And it hasn't ended. It has never stopped. I mean, we're all aware of how Andrew tried to use social media bots to, dehumanize and otherwise discourage Virginia Giuffre from speaking out. He went to the police and tried to use them against her as well. But he had tried himself to employ bot farms, and that's evidence that came out in the files that he was using those means to try to control Virginia Giuffre's testimony and intimidate her. They would go under anything about Virginia and leave all of the nastiest, most degrading, most dehumanizing commentary. And you would think, looking at the commentary, that, oh my gosh, this is crazy how many people hate this woman. I mean, they were calling her everything but a child of God. So we know for a fact, we have hard data that the royals are very familiar with bots and bot farms. We also know for a fact, with hard data from Christopher Boozy during the documentary cycle of Harry and Meghan's Netflix documentary, that most of these hate channels are tied to just a handful of actual people and royalists. Meghan's sister, her half sister, anyways, behind a whole lot of it. And they have this, clunky network of idiots who generate tons and tons of emails. And from those emails, they can create, multiple bot accounts, some of them up to 20 profiles each. And all they do all day long is this bot activity, going around programming the bots to just anytime they hear a trigger word, maybe Meghan's name or Harry's name or whatever, just to be as nasty as possible in the posts. So there are no polls. You're talking about Tom Sykes being a source of these polls and this information. This is the same person who, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the fact that he was an addict and is currently in recovery. I'm just saying that this is the type of person that you cannot rely on to give you accurate information about any freaking thing. I wouldn't take directions, simple directions from Tom Sykes if I was lost alone, like in the woods somewhere. I wouldn't accept a compliment from that man, let alone information. If Tom Sykes were in fact anybody named Thomas, okay, any Thomas, whether it's Tom Sykes, Thomas Markle Jr., anybody named Tom, if any one of these people told me good morning, I would check my watch to confirm. Oh my God, speaking of, have you guys seen that video with Junior? I saw this video the other day, and it's a little bit older, I think, because he doesn't look like this anymore. So I know it's a little bit older, but this is the first time I've seen this video, and I'm gagged. Oh my God, hold on, let me play it. It's like the craziest video, y'all. Y'all not gonna believe this. And maybe you have seen it, but I'm, maybe late to the party.
Markle Jr., Duchess Meghan's brother. Yeah, in the early 80s, when these parties were going on, they were at our Woodland Hills house. During these parties in the early 80s, obviously my dad was there. My dad would snort, cocaine, and my dad would be upstairs in the bedroom, and, I'd see, lines of cocaine on the mirror, and I'd see him do it, and, I didn't really pay much attention to it, but I think back in those times, in the studio times, when it was just everybody was doing drugs in the studios, so it was pretty common for them to have parties like that. My father, no, he's not a weed guy. He doesn't like to smoke weed. Never has. He's not a drinker. He would have occasional wine, but no weed. When I saw these parties going on, and my reaction to it was, I didn't really pay much attention to it. I was a young teenage kid, and I was just, pretty much left on my own all the time. And my dad was never really around. Doria was, she was around more than my dad was. My dad was always working, so I didn't really pay much attention to it. Or my father, when I was growing up, was very distant. He wasn't around very much at all. His work schedule, he just wasn't there. It was mostly my mom raising us all the time, but when my dad was around, he was just quiet and secretive, and he didn't really want to be bothered much, and there's always like a big secret side to him. He always had a locked door somewhere, but most of the time he was always grumpy.
Y'all, what is happening? First of all, when was this interview taken? I need to know. I tried looking it up and I couldn't find any source for when this interview was taken. All I could find from what I've looked up was that they confirmed that it was obviously not AI, yada yada, but just so gagged. This is so wild that they can just be out here doing all the things, right? All the things. And for whatever reason, all British media, all this UK media, they're trying to keep this particular information, this particular interview that Thomas Jr. gave out of the news cycles. And they did successfully because I hadn't seen this. Like, holy crap. So you heard it here last, directly from the horse's mouth. Why would I trust this type of person? Why would I trust this Mark Thomas or any other Thomas in that orbit? The royals themselves have been put on worldwide notice not to be trusted. Some of the most reputable agencies in the world have slapped a do not trust warning over that Mothering Day photo nonsense that ripple affected through everything. And as insignificant as an event like that may feel, the fact of the matter is they lied and they got caught lying. No matter how you slice that cheese, they lied. Whether it's lying about William having taken the picture himself, we know that didn't occur because that picture doesn't exist, and passing that off as a current Mothering Day photo, even though that was an amalgamation of a bunch of different photos from different times. Or let's say you give them the benefit of the doubt throughout all of that. They lied to the news agencies when they gave them those photos and told those people that they were current Mothering Day photos and to use those in circulation. So no matter how you slice it, at every step of the process, you find a lie. And this is also very petty, but again, we found out from Bobbi Brown herself that Royal Karen didn't even do her own wedding makeup, which is a lie that she perpetuated for a good 15 years. And yeah, it's a small lie, but it's a lie. These people just sit there and lie about the dumbest things that do not even require lying. We've all caught Andrew in how many lies? Dead to rights, claiming he's never seen any of that freaky business popping off at Epstein Manor. And then the very next day, there's this photo of him engaging in said freaky business at Epstein Manor on all fours, hovering shamelessly over what appears to be a very, very young, possibly unconscious juvenile girl. So what are we talking about? And then the biggest lie of them all, the Queen and Philip and the King have nothing to do with any of it. Nobody knew nothing. Everybody was blind, deaf, and otherwise incapacitated during all this shuttling and trafficking back and forth. Nobody knew nothing. Everybody was asleep at the time, right? That's the story. Not paying that money, lying about the origin of that money until both Philip and Elizabeth passed away. Until today, they still have their last wills and testaments sealed for like 100 years or so, because there's probably so much nonsense in there that would shock the senses and outrage people if they came to find out. So I never consider what a royalist says. I never consider what y'all say. Y'all be sitting up there lying for no bloody reason. Like, just absolutely no reason. Here you are with this, guy here who's just doing this nonsense. Listening to a man who can actually sit there and be photographed doing this Tom effing foolery from beginning to end. This is how it started versus how it's going. Every step of the way, you have been on that bullish. You have been on your nonsense every step of the way, even before you even had a reason to be, even before the incentive of the daily fail and the money and that kind of, even before those thoughts crept into your head. Here you were on your nonsense, lying that you didn't set up this photo shoot, lying that you didn't set up all the things that the Daily Fail captured, lying that you just happened to be there at the right time when they were there. Like, come on now. So you lied, and we're supposed to believe you now? We still ain't seen the stuff. I still do not think that man is missing a leg. You either show us the nub or it didn't happen. Period. Because if it were Meghan right now, y'all would be saying the same ish. You'd be saying, oh, this is a lie. You know it's not, because it's projection coming from y'all. But in this particular case, no. You have done so much lying. I need to see proof at every turn. I don't believe a word. The only thing I believe when these people say is their names. And barely even that. Barely even that. So I would literally trust Littlefinger or Lord Baelish before I trusted someone. Before I trusted one of these people or a royalist. Like, yeah, sure, Littlefinger was dangerous, but he was cunning and smart. And if you could corral him, he would be one of the most skilled weapons in your arsenal. Royalists and royals in particular, every time they talk, they confirm that there's nothing going on upstairs. Lights on, nobody home. Prestigious institution be damned. And in Tom Sykes' case, he's literally the reason why they had to build an on-campus rehabilitation center at Eton. Again, no shade to anyone in recovery. But if you are in recovery and have been known to live a devious lifestyle that involves a lot of shady drug culture people, you're not like someone I am going to take seriously as far as the information you're trying to give me about something you know nothing of. Y'all are miserable over there. Miserable. Y'all are a miserable lot. And I think it's because you have guilty consciences, because how else could a person this rich and have this much access be so miserable? People that tell you that like money doesn't buy happiness, those people don't want you to have said money. That's the only reason a person would ever fix their mouth to tell you that money doesn't buy happiness. Yes, it does. Money buys happiness, especially in a capitalist society. That is the number one thing. You cannot live without money. You can't live a good quality of life without money. Money might not buy you true love. I'll believe that any day of the week. But happiness, oh, you can buy a puppy with money. So to have all this money and to still be this miserable is something. Is that an accomplishment? No. It'd be her only one. It'd be their only accomplishment. It'd be the only thing that actually impressed me was how miserable they are despite how rich they are. Yeah, Connie. Money does bring happiness. I like having cash on me and my account. Come on now. Hey, Sam. Happy Sunday. Hi from England. Oh, welcome to the chat. No shade to England. I'm always like going off on this tangent. And I want to point out that I am specifically talking to royalists. I am not in any way, shape, or form, and never have and never will include the good men and women of the UK who are on the right side of history every day. Y'all once had a breath of fresh air. Y'all could have had a breath of fresh air that truly united not just the UK, but the Commonwealth. A lot of those Commonwealth countries don't actually like the UK either. They are suffering from Stockholm syndrome. They are suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome. There's a lot of research that has gone into how devastating colonization and the aftermath of that is till today on the psyche and the well-being of the generations post-slavery. And so even if you say, let bygones be bygones, it continues to destroy them from the inside out. Right? So let's say we don't even hold you to account for the things that your ancestors did. Fine. Why won't you give us back the things that y'all stole if you were truly interested in fostering peace and brokering this community of wealth? Give us back the wealth. Nobody's even asking for like compensation or reparations anymore. They're literally just saying, yo, give us back our stuff, give us back our wealth, the things that you stole from us that are in your museums right now that you don't rightfully own. And the UK's refusal to do that is a slap in the face to this whole idea of a Commonwealth. People from the UK can't even travel, not the UK, people from the Commonwealth can't even travel to the UK without a visa. It's very difficult to obtain a visa because, the Home Office is notoriously racist. Anyways, that's another conversation for another day. The Trooping of the Color 2026 went down, and they were alive, I guess, and wore clothes. That's really it. There was a lot of protests as per usual, and that's where you get these pictures of they had these like very strange looks on their face, in my opinion. They all looked kind of like shocked to see the protesters, which I don't know why y'all are still shocked. This has been ongoing for years now. And I think it's actually pretty disingenuous, to be completely honest. Like, this is y'all version of like, oh, tears being erected to incite a response to anyone who may be watching, all these like forlorn looks that you saw them giving the crowds. They're to trigger a certain response. They are to trigger a certain Carolyn Bryant-esque response from people, because why would you do that? Yeah, so these forlorn looks are weird. These are weird to me because you've been at this for so long. The Republic folks have been at this for so long. So this, like, oh my goodness, what's with the protest? Like, these weird forlorn looks are weird to me because you should expect this at this point. No? And this look in particular, this is the Carolyn Bryant look that I was talking about. Like, she looks like she's signaling to the crowd, like, oh my God, look how sad these people are making me. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod. If you could take care of that for me, that'd be great. I don't buy it. I don't buy that you're so sad or just so delicate and wrinkling under the pressure or whatever the case you're trying to convey here. I just don't buy it. And neither do Nina or FK or Catherine. Like, none of these people buy it. Damn, the royals know their days are numbered. I mean, the writing has to be on the walls. And look, every quote unquote empire rises and falls. That is just the human cycle of things. That is just how life and societies develop. You have a period of total world domination that goes away. I mean, at one point, these people owned like 80% of the land and people on Earth, but they lost it all. At some point, everything that goes up comes down, and that includes monarchies, empires, imperial empires, whatever you want to call yourself, eventually the people in charge of that entity, pass on, and then they pass it to the hands of somebody else, and that person might not keep it up the way that the previous person did. So I also believe that their days are numbered, and I don't mean that nefariously. I'm not wishing any of them any harm. I just feel that no matter what they try to do at this point, they have really shot themselves in the foot. And unfortunately, for the next in line, he is also deeply unpopular, as is his wife. And you could debate that till the end of time, right? You can debate whether or not the royals are popular till the end of time. The point I am making here is that they have shot themselves in the foot with millions of Black and brown people because of the way they behaved with Meghan alone. They have also shot themselves in the foot with many a person who doesn't want to see this type of division, right? So even if you're not someone who considers yourself a Meghan fan or whatever the case, the fact that they have sown this division, the fact that they couldn't even keep it together long enough to help the monarchy out, help themselves out, has a lot of people questioning whether or not there even should be a monarchy. And then there's other people who cannot move past the Andrew cover-up thing. So the monarchy has shot themselves in the foot with quite a few guns here. But I do feel anyone who's ever worked with a Karen before or been around a Karen in any capacity, you know exactly what I mean. This look, the waterworks, all that huffing and puffing, it's not because they're actually feeling bad. This look here is because they want a violent person to step in and handle the business for them. And Kate in particular, she is a master of this. She orchestrated one of the greatest instances of this tactic in history, modern history of the royal family. I mean, you thought Camilla was vindictive and horrifying. Royal Karen here and Camilla Tominey cooked up that Meghan made her cry story, knowing the threat levels against Meghan, knowing that she had already been receiving some really, really violent, hateful messages, knowing that those same people would be listening and reading. She and Camilla sat down over tea and concocted a story that they knew would end Meghan's popularity and hopefully life, because they knew how dumb most people could be when it comes to the people that listen to tabloids, right? How gullible most of those people can be, how undereducated most of those people can be. They knew all of these things. This was a plan that she actually executed perfectly. And I don't know that she meant for it to be such a clever, tactical strategy. I think she was just jealous and throwing a racist fit. But the result was pulling off the greatest coup d'etat in modern royal history. The fashion at the Trooping of the Color was also notably terrible. And there was a bunch of articles about it. I was just cracking up reading all this. Why did they have to say this about Sophie? Why did they say that Sophie looked like she had a seagull crash land on her head? If you don't have style, there's just nothing you can do with that money that will make you look good. Just too much expensive, but tacky. Looks like paper mache. Just thrown together type situations. And I don't know, the styling is what makes things the things. It's evident that she doesn't have a signature style, except maybe if you consider cosplay as a signature style, because that is all we're doing at this point, is just let's see what else we can grab out of the archives. Hey, Thomas, good evening. Welcome to the chat and happy Sunday. So happy to see you. But yeah, that's basically where we're at. Like, I remember that last time she wore that Tolu Coker trench and there was just nothing styled. She just took it right off the runway and put it on. That's how she does most of her clothes, straight from, whatever tailor or maybe the runway. She just puts it on and maybe throws on some pearl earrings and some court shoes and maybe a belt. I don't know. But there's no styling that like pulls everything together or that feels signature to her. And not that you have to have a signature style. I don't have a signature style. One day I'm wearing Dion's black and white tartan skirt set from Clueless, and the next day I'm got on a Rachel Zane number. Like, I get to play around. It's fun to do different things and switch it up. However, royals in particular, especially those who are going to be queen, always solidify their fashion sense by like working with a certain stylist for years, working with a certain designer. I try to be delicate about it. It's she doesn't plan strategically is what I'm saying. She's not that intuitive. And unfortunately for her, the people around her are equally high. So they also don't have the input that would be beneficial to her in any capacity. So we just have these same patterns of who else can I copy? And now she's gone back to copying Diana and the queen with the coat dresses. I immediately remembered this dress because she dressed up William in the same dress. And I'll never forget it. Like, why would she do Diana was crazy. It's so stylish. It's just so stylish. I love the coat on her and everything. And the way she just threw the exact same coat on William is crazy. But she was that girl. She could make anything work. Diana was like her generation's Rihanna. It was only ugly or not cute until Diana wore it. Then it was all the rage. And I don't really care that she's gone back to like cosplaying Diana either. As long as she leaves Meghan's shoes, bags, and white laid trousers and pantsuits and whatnot alone. And I'm not saying she can't wear them. I'm just saying that if she wants to wear them, she should try her best to put her own styling on it. There's this woman on TikTok that has a channel that's dedicated to pointing out exactly how Royal Karen copies Duchess Meghan. And it's crazy watching her videos. She is like so unhinged. I love it. She points out things that go like beyond the wardrobe. So she has videos on things like how Meghan had done a Zoom video. And in the Zoom video, she's wearing this like orange shirt. She has this potted lily right next to her on this end table. The way that the window is like behind her, the way her hair is styled down, part in the middle. Royal Karen went and recreated a Zoom video exactly like that with the same chair, same way that her arm was like resting on the chair, same exact position that Meghan was in, same lily. She went and got her lily was like purple or pink or something. But she still got a potted lily, put it on an end table right in front of the window. Like everything was just styled exactly like Meghan's Zoom video. So she does these videos that like point it out, and it's crazy seeing it because she gets the details. She goes like bar for bar through the videos and points them out. There was another video where she talked about how Royal Karen went and gathered school children on one outing, and not only did she dress like Meghan, but she found a school whose uniforms were almost identical to the uniforms worn by the Colombian school children that Harry and Meghan went and visited. So those kids were wearing like teal sweaters with like yellow and tan. And she went and found a school in England wearing the exact same uniform and did a recreation of Meghan's Columbia. And then she did a video on like the Ukraine flag controversy. How she didn't even have nothing. She wasn't even like actually doing the task with the kids. She just had the 2 pieces of paper and the Ukrainian flag colors just to mimic Meghan's Ukrainian flag activity with the kids in The Hague. I forget her name, but if I remember it, I'll put it in the description because she's like hilarious. You guys probably know who I'm talking about. If you know who I'm talking about, let me know in the chat. Let's see, Connie Bomber. I don't think Kate is happy. She lost weight or is sick. Um, Both of those things have been accurate for a very long time. She lost the weight before her wedding, and she has never looked anywhere near healthy ever since. And I'm not a doctor. That's not a statement of fact. I don't know whether she's healthy or not. I'm just saying she's never looked. To my eyes, she looked really healthy, thick, all the things back in college, back in her uni days. And I'm not going to comment on her appearance as far as her body is concerned, but like, yeah, she's never looked the same. And as far as being like sick, mentally speaking, yes, for a very long time. um so yeah, she just goes on and on. So her cosplaying Diana is hilarious, mainly because it reaffirms that she literally will sponge on to whatever pop culture moment happens to be presented to her by her team for that occasion. It's clear that her team presented her with, hey, let's do a callback to Diana. Diana's 1980, I think this was 84, maybe 85, Tripping of the Color, and it doesn't translate. If this were me, I would do a regular dress. Like, she's obviously wearing a dress under that, right? So the white dress, and what I would have done is just have blue, like these blue airline hostess panels sewn into the dress. That would have been just a slight wink and a nod, like a hintity hint. You didn't need to do the whole entire outfit to do the homage. An homage works when you make it your own and you customize it to modernize it for the times. It ages her so bad. It doesn't do her any good as far as like flattering her figure, nothing. It's just this long boxed garment that looks very strange with the shoulders. It looks like she has like a hanger in her back that's propping up the shoulders when it's hung in a closet. Like, it's just, all of it is just so like it's just so I don't know. It just doesn't translate. These looks just don't translate. And maybe it's because I'm not in Britain and I don't know, but I don't know. And I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's all just fleeting. But yeah, they had a whole like worst dressed of 2026. It was hilarious because the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester made the list. And what do you call that man? Mr. Peanut. I was They said he came out looking like Mr. Peanut, adjusting his spectacles. I don't know why that tickled me pink. And the Duchess of Gloucester, oh my goodness, why did they say that she looked like she was haunting the Buckingham Palace balcony? They said she was on her Helena Bonham Carter. And shout out to Helena, right? She did her thing as Margaret, as Princess Margaret in The Crown. But girl, they said they say she pulled a Helena on the balcony, and I don't know why they would say that about this lady. I mean, is she bad? Is she like a bad person? I don't know. I don't mind what she has on. Yeah, it's a little 1800s Victorian ghost, sure, but whatever. It's still okay. It's not the worst thing anyone has ever seen. Like, I'm sure someone can appreciate a high neck ruffle clown collar. This list, wait, let me harken back to that. This list here had me dying. Like, the way that they just got at everybody. They said that Camilla's feather duster on her head was distracting. They just like went in on everybody, and they had enough respect for Kate not to like put her on the worst dress, but they didn't put her on the best dressed either. Like, they just left it at that, you know. I think they're all trying to just get by, cosplay Diana, do what they need to do to get by, harken back to the times when things were better. And they're probably being told by their staff and the palace to like, yeah, try to get people thinking nostalgic. And, there's a lot of like nostalgia going on right now. People are craving like simpler times because the economy is so bad and people are really trying to get back to analog because they don't like AI. Like this would be a great time to harken back to the days of yore, peak Diana days, right? The peak popularity of the monarchy days. And I don't know why. I just don't know why they keep telling her to do that because she's tried it. Sophie didn't try it so many times before. She's never been successful. She's never been successful. This was her attempt at Princess Diana's revenge dress look. And what was going on here? No one called this inappropriate. No one called this breaking protocol. And where was she going and what revenge was she seeking? Why was she dressed like this? In fact, all of them do this thing where they try to emulate Diana, like literally all of them. Whether it's like the style, the hair, the way Diana smiled, her mannerisms. Sophie was quite heavily influenced by Diana and wanted to be as popular. I mean, why else would she have shown? Why else? Why else would she have shown up to any place looking like this? And why did every royal woman have to take a crack at this revenge dress? Like, yeah, Diana looked really good, but there was a specific reason why she was wearing that dress. You and Sophie did not have any revenge to be seeking wearing this dress, trying to emulate her. And Camilla, oof, this is just such a haggard facsimile. Why would you do this? I'd never like I can't ungag myself over this picture. Like at least Sophie tried switching it up a little bit so it wasn't just like erasing Diana's name off the paper and writing in Sophie's like Camilla did. She at least tried to do something different, but you could see where the influence came from. And don't get me wrong, I know anyone can throw on an LBD. Anyone can throw on a choker necklace, but the fact that they combined the 2 and the cut of each dress was quite similar in the shortness, the bodycon of it all, very obvious. It's not like they went for like an A-line or a peplum or a drop waist or any other silhouette. It's tight at the top and comes out a little bit at the bottom, and it's very much a haggard facsimile of Diana's revenge dress. I mean, where's the originality? This is just pan-searing me. The fashion is so lacking. I'm not quite sure why Camilla showed up in uniform. That was weird. Like, this was very strange. Why is she in uniform? Why is she it I don't understand. It's weird that any royal Karen, um, are commanders of some, like, section of the armed forces. Like, for why? I kinda think it's just to put on the uniform and get to drive around in a tank and whatnot, and, like, have a fun activity or 2 to do from time to time, but it's also an extension of power for them to be appointed in that position, despite the fact that they have no prior military experience. And say what you want about Elizabeth, but at least she had military training and worked as a mechanic in the military during World War II, according to them, allegedly. So at the very minimum, she had earned the right to wear that military regalia that she used to wear during these events. The current set of royal Karens do not. The royal men barely do. And it's like kind of a tradition and a thing that they all just go into the armed forces as part of like their service and duty to the crown. But for the most part, none of these royal men are military men either. They just stack up all these medals. They gift each other, get to wear those red coat uniforms or whatever uniform those are, or in Edward's case, that brown uniform. I don't know what section of the military Edward's uniform is from, but like, yeah, the sham was shamming this year. And I also don't like how they positioned the children this year. There was a lot of conversation around correcting them and mistaking them, or not mistaking them, but the mistakes that they've made. And there's always been these little conversations around the royal Karens correcting so and so child when they did this or did that. And I hate this narrative so much because why are you turning like basic, simple parenting into a headline? Especially when this headline was that, oh, yeah, she corrected Charlotte perfectly or something to that nature. Like, why are you phrasing it like that? And all she did, mind you, all she did was walk a little bit ahead and then was quickly corralled back into her position by her mom. Blink and you'd have missed it. So, like, why would you write that kind of headline? Because how is that a mistake that she's made? Like, just because you walk in front of somebody, and I get it, like, the optics are quite important to them, but that is not a headline-worthy mistake that a child should have to read about. That is a mistake that any child would make. That is a normal mistake to make as a child. Put that into a headline and make it seem like she did something wrong and that her mom had to check her is weird. And then there's the even creepier headlines where you have them doing this very quasi Mary Kate and Ashley countdown type situation regarding Charlotte. Um, Very alarming. I I saw a headline that was like, "Oh, I have it here somewhere. I don't wanna misquote it. Let me just pull it up because it shocked me so bad that I was like, "No, I didn't read that right. I could not possibly have, like, read that right," but I did. I did read it right. Like, I'm old enough to remember when every predator on the internet was counting down to the day that Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen became legal, turned 18. It was so gross. It was, like, the grossest time to be alive, and everybody had no shame about it. Everybody just ha-ha'd and or just kind of, like, chuckled nervously or whatever the case might have been. There were plenty of these sites that were excited and had these countdowns for Mary-Kate and Ashley becoming, quote, unquote, "adults" at 18. This this article on Charlotte, the way that they're starting to talk about Charlotte is predatory disguised as, "Oh, we're just happy that she's, growing and progressing." Mm-mm. Princess Charlotte made her first Trooping the Color appearance since officially becoming a preteen on May 12th. Why would you write that? Right? Now, this might not look like an apples to apples comparison, but when you break down the language that they're using here, this is the first Trooping of the Color since becoming a preteen. Why are you keeping track of that? And more importantly, why is that information pertinent for people to know? Why do you think that it's necessary for us to keep that timeline on how much closer Charlotte is inching to womanhood? I don't see any articles talking about when George became a preteen or how long until Louis is a man. It's so creepy. It's so predatory that you would be keeping track of a little girl's development publicly like this. And this is not information that we need. We all know her age, or you can find out quite readily what her age is. You don't need to publicly tell us excitedly that she's on the on the cusp of womanhood. This is coded profane language. This is Pizza Express. This is that wink, wink, nod, nod, coded language that they want you to miss, and they want to continue to be able to indulge in and not have any pushback on. But we need to keep track of this because this shocked me. I don't know if you guys saw this, or maybe I'm just overreacting or something. I don't know, but heck no. Heck no. As a parent, I would not go for this. I would want to know why you are phrasing my child in this way, especially considering the author of this article. This is how predators like Prince Andrew, Jimmy Savile, Lord Mountbatten, this is how they got away with their crimes. The press is 1,000% complicit in all of it. They are writing these articles in such a way that softens the blow of what they're actually excited about and protects anyone else who may also express excitement about how Charlotte's growing. The language protects you if you indulge in it. It makes it seem like it is just something that everybody should be excited about when it is not. And it often sounds something like, "Oh, they're getting so big. She's growing into such a beautiful young lady. Oh, they're gonna have to beat them off with a stick pretty soon. Oh, pretty soon now they're gonna come a calling and all this. Oh, they're gonna be trouble in the next couple of years." Comments like that are predatory. Do not say things like that about or around children. Let them be children. Do not start placing adult expectations on children, please. I don't even like when adults ask kids what they're gonna be when they grow up. I've always disliked that. That is an adult expectation that you are placing on a child. Like, as young I remember the first time I was asked that question, I had to be, what, 5 or 6 or something like that? And by the way, I remember wanting to be a veterinarian and my aunts being super ignorant, didn't know that veterinarians were doctors, so they, like, laughed me out of the room. They're like, "Dogs? Who wants to work with dogs? Ugh." You know how I mean, not every Nigerian, but there's this thing about Nigerians and dogs, like, most Nigerians are, like, either scared of them and have them as, like, security pets, or they just kinda don't deal with them pet-wise, like, they just don't have dogs in their house. So, my aunts were like, "Ugh, dogs? What do you mean dogs?" You know, like, ugh, they so narrow-minded as far as their understanding of that, but yeah, they laughed me out of the room when I was, like, a child. So it's so sorry about that, my mic's just unmuted again. Um, So yeah, not only is it placing an adult expectation on a child, but if that child doesn't say the right thing, then there's going to be this other set of lifelong, projection that you've projected onto them that they have to consider. Especially when a kid says something like, "I wanna be a clown," or "I wanna be in the circus," or "I wanna be an artist," or "I wanna be," some other type of profession that an adult wouldn't necessarily think makes money or is a good profession to have, they're gonna project their own, "Don't do that," or their own whatever they feel about that profession onto the kid. And that's something that sticks with you because I never did pursue veterinary medicine after that. I went into nursing like everybody else, but that's what they projected that onto me, and then I was influenced by that growing up. And I don't regret that. I mean, I don't regret any of my decisions as far as my career is concerned. I have a great career. It's worked out pretty well for me. But, just an example of how things can affect you long term in your childhood, especially something as innocuous and, seemingly innocent as what do you wanna be when you grow up. It can have a bunch of unforeseen and unaccounted for ramifications on a kid, especially when they don't say the right thing that adults wanna hear. It projects those limitations. Those are the limitations of the adults around you onto the child, you know? So I don't know, we just have to protect kids at all costs. I do not like any of this at all. I found it extremely creepy the way that these people are starting to talk more about Princess Charlotte's growing up and aging into adulthood. I don't like it. It's creepy. Please keep this child's name out of your mouth. Keep anything pertaining to her developmental cycle out of your mouth. Like, we don't need to you we don't need you to point that out. Just let her be a child. I guess one of the saving graces here in this whole Trooping of the Color debacle is that they have given up lying about the possibility of, like, Harry and Meghan coming to a Trooping of the Color like they have been every year for the last, like, 6 years. There's always this question of, "Will they? Won't they? Will they? Won't they?" Like, just to drum up clicks. It's clickbait at this point, yes, but this year they didn't even bother with the clickbait. They always write these articles about every major royal event. Will they, whether it's Ascot or Christmas or Thanksgiving or Easter, whatever, will they come? Won't they? What's going on? A source says that the Sussexes desperately want to go. But this year, it doesn't seem like they're even bothering with that. And I think it's finally just started to set in that Harry and Meghan are done. They're done, done. They have been done this whole time, but they are done, done. And not that there has ever been any possibility that they would have gone back because Harry already told us in Spare that that whole 1 year think about it nonsense was really just about, not so much a comeback in a year after you thought over it, it was, "We'll give you a year to transition," right? So, the tabloids have always taken that year and extended it every year. Every year was that year that they might just come back and take the Royals up on their offer to come back. Um, they're not coming back. You know darn well they are not coming back. Why would they? Why would they? Why would they give any of this up? Why would anyone give this up? Why would anyone trade in sun-drenched, beautiful California coastal life, fresh air, peace, beautiful kids running free without restriction, without any kind of, nonsense about what they can and can't do, arbitrary rules placed on them. They have full autonomy. They have their own money, plenty of it, BT dub. Why would anyone trade that to go back under the thumb of racists? Why would anyone trade in that life to go back to people who lie on you deliberately to endanger your life? Why would you wanna be around someone like that? Why would you go back to the place that broke you? None of these people would do it. In fact, we've seen that under 1 or 2 minutes, just a fraction of the scrutiny that they dish out, they fold. If you even so much as ask them where they got their source or how they know of what they're saying, they'll fold. They'll take it as a slight. "You're questioning me, you're calling me a liar? Oh my gosh," you know? They can't take the abuse. It's not even abuse. It's not even abuse. If you just challenge them on one of their material points, can you bring some material factual evidence? They'll take it as an offense. I think it's gaslighting, but that's what they do. They pretend to become highly offended. So you can't even take someone asking you for proof of something, but you can dish out all of this nonsense 24/7. They can take it, but they think that they're so great that their abuse is equal to love, that we should be so lucky to even be able to be around them and let them abuse us. Like, that's a honor or something, to be abused by a future king or a future queen. And I love that y'all are having to suffer through this. I really love that for you. I love that you have to watch as they live this life worth living, as they build the dream life that, anybody would want.
And not even for the fame, not even for the fame and the fortune, just look at their family. This is a dream life that many people aspire to. These beautiful children, being in love with your spouse. Hello? Let's just be real. Being in love with your spouse is not something that every spouse has. So these two are just living this very charmed life that they've built brick by brick. Like we said earlier, money doesn't buy you love. So if you have love on top of money, oh, oh, well, that's just all you really need. That's all you really need in life. And they fortunately happen to really deeply love each other. So why would they give that up? These two have accomplished incredible feats in a very short 6 years since leaving that toxic environment. And you know damn well that nobody in their correct frame of mind would give any of this up to go back, to voluntarily return to a concentration camp. I mean, Harry just went to the hottest ticket in town, the NBA Finals, personally invited by NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. I mean, I feel like that was a strategic move just as much as it was him, doing anything else. Adam Silver is a very well-respected man in sports, and so is Prince Harry, as evidenced by his Time 100 induction into the most influential individuals in sports in 2026. But also, I think that they're probably working on something too. Prince Harry is interested in many a sport. And I think that he's doing something big in sports right now. And this whole cameo at the NBA Finals is part of that. And I love that he was already in San Antonio, like he was already there. So he has the autonomy to have already been in San Antonio. Nobody knew about it. Nobody knew he was there, right? So why would he give that up to have a brother that tells everybody where he is in the hopes that somebody goes to harm him wherever he tells him that his brother's at? Why would he do that? It's it's like trading in life for death, trading in a beautiful life for the high probability that you will die in a concentration camp in the UK. And I love this so much. I can't even tell you how much I am enjoying Meghan trolling the trolls. Like she could never this would never have been fathomable just a few years ago. But here we are. Here we are. The Duchess of Sussex is giving big godmother energy, to be honest. You cannot tell me that that is not her godson, period. That's we already know. But to turn around and troll the trolls the way she expertly trolled the trolls, this cracked me up so bad. I was so gagged when she wrote this. I thought it was AI. I was like, "There's no way that she had this somebody put this caption there. Like, somebody is responsible for this caption. There's no way the Duchess of Sussex just came out swinging like that." It's so fun. It's so fun, and I love that she's this comfortable now. She's just really 100% settled into herself, and now she's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, we already know." Before you get to shucking and jiving with the lies, it's not his baby. Like, girl, you are crazy. You're so crazy. You 2 crazy kids. And Kelly's expression, I know that this is how she was laughing when she saw that. When she saw because she did repost it too. She reposted it on her Instagram and she was like, LMAO with like 10 O's. Like, yeah, it was hilarious. It's hilarious. This was so unexpected and cool and fun. Um, it just it just tickles me pink, you know. Her Royal Highness has reclaimed her time. She has reclaimed her energy. She has reclaimed her voice, and she's on full offensive now. No more defense. That is done. The days of just being in defense mode are done. Thankfully, right? Thankfully, because otherwise we just would have, well, who knows what we would actually have, right? Who actually knows what we would have? I guess we'll never know because luckily for us, everything has come full circle. The healing has come full circle. Everything has come full circle. No more defense. We're on offense now, just like the Knicks in 5. It is done. Ooh, how about the Knicks, huh? Oh man, if I were a gambler, I would have made so much money. I would have made so much bank yesterday. I knew the Knicks were gonna win it all. I was saying it was gonna be a blowout, Knicks in 4, the San Antonio didn't have a chance. Not because I don't like San Antonio, but just because it was it was always gonna be Knicks. It was always gonna be Knicks, right? So, and it would have been Knicks in 4. It would have, except that we had this horrifying detour on game 4. And look, I'm not gonna get into that, but the fact of the matter is the current president is persona non grata in New York, right? No matter how you personally feel about him in New York, in New Jersey, he is a person that is not highly liked. They haven't forgotten the Central Park Five. They haven't forgotten Atlantic City. They haven't forgotten the charity stuff. They haven't forgotten the university stuff. The North remembers. This is a very long-standing animosity between the current president and the state of New York and New Jersey. They do not like him out there. They do not forget what he did. So him showing up to New York, showing up to MSG was just as much a strategy to make New York lose as it was to stroke his own ego. And it worked. It worked. They knew that bad luck charm was gonna bad luck charm up in there. But thankfully, they saged the Madison Square Garden, they purified the place, they cleansed it, just kind of purged all that negative, nasty aura out, and you see what happened. You see what happened after that. So congrats again to Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. Um, that was just amazing. OG Anunoby, my goodness, what a time to be alive. That was incredible. Incredible. So yeah, Harry's doing all this. He's moving around very seamlessly in circles that he wants to be in. He's not surrounded by people who are harming him or looking to harm him or setting him up. This is his very much his life right now, this very beautiful life that he has cultivated for himself. And you are smoking cheap crack if you think or even entertain the notion that anybody would give this up for you, the toothless, miserable folks, royalists over there. Because why? Anyways, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Keep making the same mistakes, babes. Keep making the same mistakes over and over again. I personally love watching the fall of the House of Windsor. This season is lit. Let me tell you. I have been looking forward to this moment for so long, and I'm glad that you colonizing imperialists are finally getting your comeuppance. You know? Finally. Especially for this. This was completely unforgivable. I will literally never forgive this. The black revenge dress was one thing, but this, mm-mm, nah. Had on the same earrings and everything. Nah, nah. So yeah, guys. There we go. That's gonna be all. That's gonna be all for this lovely Sunday, guys. It was so nice catching up with you. It's always such a pleasure. I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Please do be safe out there.
Be kind to yourselves. Until next time, bye for now.